Hi, I'm Chris from airwindows, and I'm bringing you a specialized little tool, as sometimes I am wont to do. It's kind of like some stuff that's in, uh, I think it's iron oxide who tape these. There are so many little bits of code strewn away everywhere that it's hard to keep track of them sometimes. But this is called TapeDust. It's based on, yeah, it is iron oxide, the noise generator that I had to put a control on to cool it out. And that was part of iron oxide 4 and became part of the most recent one. But I've taken it and done some additional things to it to make it different. And here, I'll show you what it sounds like. This is Stealth Kit Jam. Oh, it would help if I turned it on. Let me do that. That's pretty fuzzy, right? Here's the deal. This is a noise generator that works on slew and adds noise relative to how intensely the sample is changing between the signal is changing between samples. So what it's capable of doing is stepping on the highs in a particular way, but then when you have low frequency sounds like bass, it can step on them, it can step on that in a much harder way, and you hear it on the edges of the waveform, like the roundness of the waveform. So you hear a certain buzziness, and that's one of the reasons I had to put a control on it in iron oxide. But there's more. Like, this is very noisy, obviously. It's making a little noise inside it, and you can do a dry wet if that helps any. But here's something else. Listen to the high frequencies. I'm going to put on just a tiny bit of TapeDust. Just a little, just like the smallest amounts. Listen to what that does to the highs. It'll act kind of like a very unusual and special little high frequency roll-off and give this unusual organic quality to it. This is a good example for it because Stealth Kit Jam is extremely bright. And we can kind of hear it. Now turn it off. Back on. Back off. Notice that? It has a real interesting effect on rhythmic stuff. The drums are colored interestingly by that. Let's go to the very beginning of this track. Turn it off. Back on. As you can hear, we're stepping on the bass a little bit because it's a super heavy sort of reggae style, trip hop bass. But the effect on the highs is very interesting. We can bounce over to Alien Kittens and hear a little bit of that. Again, you can just flatten it with this. Listen to, for instance, that hi-hat. It darkens it in a characteristic way. And then there are some things, like for instance this one, this is Empty Pictures, and it is a much fuller mix with a lot more going on. And we should be able to turn dust up more because it's less of a simple waveform, rather than just being a single, almost sine-like bass where you can clearly hear the fuzz on the zero crossings where the slew is steeper. There's enough going on that it'll veil it, and we can get a sort of tape-like roaring quality out of it. Or, indeed, we could just have a large scrunch, but that's the sound effect too. I never said that this was something that you're going to sit on your tube bus and use lots of at all times. This is just another bizarre little tool. Have that moderate amount of scrunch. Turn it off. Isn't that interesting? Back. Doesn't sound like anything's happening, huh? Yet. Back on. TapeDust is the latest AirWindows plugin. It is free audio unit and Mac and PC VST. These are supported by Patreon, and you should have a link down there and stuff. What the Patreon is for is people get to keep me doing these things and keep me giving free things out to everybody who would like them, including other new stuff that I'm going to be doing as well, more of which will be revealed. If you have a credit card and are cool with having the credit card leached off of by one of your terrible licensing thingies or that sort of monthly nonsense, enough people doing $1 a month will have me all set to keep doing this indefinitely. I'm pretty close to that point already. In fact, that's why we're seeing some of the fancier plugins. And if I get to the $700 point, I'll be starting to release the less well-selling plugins from the for sale collection that I've started going through. And that'll make the sort of fancy stuff come twice as fast. Patreon is a very neat thing. It's nothing but a payment processor, but it's very handy. And if enough people are involved with it, I can keep doing this line of work. And I do like doing this line of work because, like when I was playing this and I had TapeDust engaged and then turned it off and suddenly it was very strikingly different. That's the kind of stuff I like. I like being able to do things where you can change the whole texture of the sound around. And there's many ways to do that, and I will bring you all of them for free, because that's just how I roll. Thanks.